What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to yet another episode of the MMA Show. Let's get started. I hope you guys like the new studio vibe that I have going on, alright? I try to make it better, so you're welcome for your viewing experience. But yeah, man, we're here. We are live. Thank you so much, first of all, for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button. And I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day, man. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Having a good week so far. Can't really complain, man. And I can't really complain when we have all this fucking UFC fights lined up, bro. Ready to go. It's just a matter of time before I think we have one of the best UFC seasons ever. I think the way this year is looking so far from here till summer, it's looking absolutely fantastic. All right, we'll break it down. We'll talk about it. Yeah, just remember, I will be here to break down absolutely everything. So keep an eye out and make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe, and hit that bell so you also are notified. Well, first of all, I guess we could start. I'm looking at it right here. The next one that we have coming up is this Saturday. If you have been living under a rock, if you don't know, it's going to be Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. Now, I love this fight and I love this matchup. I think this is going to be a sleeper fight. This is going to be one of those sleeper fights because right now I don't think a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of its shine kind of got stolen away from the whole McGregor and John Jones. And although this is a great fight, I feel like a lot of people are slipping on him, and that's another way to say it. This is going to be a fantastic fight, especially because if you look at the rankings, man. This is insane because you have the guy that's number one going up a division to fight the guy that is number two in the pound for pound rankings. Okay, that's very rare. That is very, very rare. You're talking about once in a very long time. Like the last time we had two ranked guys fight was Alex versus Max Holloway, and even Max Holloway was saying during that fight, during that whole week, that was like, "Hey guys, we don't see this a lot. These are two of the top 10 ranked, top 10. This is two of the top 3, bro. Like this is gonna be insane. I don't know. It's a really, really tough fight to kind of call and to try to bet money on and try to find a winner because both of these guys have insane skills. Now, there are a few pros and cons to each, so we'll definitely talk about them. Starting with Makhachev, first of all, we all know the obvious, right? Fantastic grappling and wrestler. I mean, he will take you down and keep you there. That is his game. That is what he does. Now, people like him and Khabib, they do that shit without like hiding it. They're like, "Hey guys, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna fucking take you down and we're gonna hold you." And if you do that in any other aspect of a fight, like if you tell a fighter, "Hey man, I'm gonna uppercut you, all right, in the second round," all right, well, that fighter in the second round will probably be more aware of uppercuts, right? But in this gentleman situation, they tell the guys, "Well, I'm gonna hold you down. I'm gonna take you down, right? I'm gonna shoot 100%. I'm gonna do it. And I will keep you down and grapple you." They tell people know how they're gonna fight. Somehow, yet their opponents act surprised when they get taken down and they get submitted. Like it's just what they do, right? Now, Islam kind of has the best of both worlds because he's also a great striker. Khabib was a great grappler, but Islam is a great grappler and a great striker. So that's what worries me when facing someone like Alex, because if Islam was lacking in the striking department, then I would favor Alex 100%. I would say, "Oh well, this is looking like it's going to be Alex fight," right? Because Alex striking is phenomenal. It's top notch. It's pressure, but it's also defense. And it's also just being very aware of what's going on. I mean, really, he hasn't really been ever knocked out or anything like that. And if you look at some of his record, right, he has been in trouble of getting submitted. Like one of my favorite rounds ever is him versus Brian Ortega. And Brian Ortega caught him with a few submissions that were fight ending, bro. And Volk did not tap. Volk didn't really need to breathe. Really, he just took it. So you have to take that into account when he's gonna fight a great grappler and a great submission artist like Islam. Now there is talk, right, that Islam has a great grip just because of the way he beat Oliveira. They were like, oh my god, he took Oliveira down and held him down and for just choked him for like not even 5 seconds, and Oliveira tapped. So everyone's like, oh my god, Islam probably has an amazing grip. So that's what worries me the most. What if Alex does get taken down and Islam does get in a very compromising grappling position? Will Alex be able to do what he did versus Brian Ortega and kind of ride the wave and maybe just ride the end of the round or just somehow slip out? That's going to be very hard, because if he can't do that, then it's game over. It's end of the night. If you are going to go to the ground with Islam Makhachev expecting to get back up, it's a very, very bad game plan. And that's what I don't want Alex to do, because I probably will be betting money on him, honestly. I'll probably put money on Alex. I do think he has the most chance to win because now, I'm not being biased, right? But Islam has, I've gone back and forth because both of these guys could literally win at any time of the fight. The way I see it is Islam kind of has the most tools to win, right? And I don't know who's the favorite. Let me check who is the favorite real quick. Because I usually actually bet on underdogs. Like, it's very rare I bet on the favorite. I'm using DraftKings, by the way. Use promo code MMA Show. I'm just kidding. I don't have a promo code. Okay, so Islam Makhachev is minus 380 and Alex is plus 310. So that makes Alexander Volkanovski the underdog. So I'll probably put money on that because he has a great chance of winning, right? The way he would win, though, so like if Alex does win, I do believe it's going to be probably by just looking at his most recent fights. It's probably going to be it doesn't have to be a decision. I don't think he's going to be able to. First of all, he's not submitting Islam. He has improved his wrestling, but I don't think he's a good damn wrestler. I don't know how good of jiu-jitsu he has, but he is a damn good wrestler. A lot of people don't know that, and the fact that he used to play rugby actually helps him a lot too. But I just don't think he's submitting Islam. So we can probably take that out of the equation. He could knock out Islam. Islam has been knocked out earlier in his career when he was a younger gentleman. He did get knocked out bad. So that could happen. That's obviously probably the most probable thing if you want Alex to win. But the other one is a decision. Based on his last fights, you saw the Ortega fight, and you saw the Max Holloway fight. The only one that he's finished has been the only one that got stopped was the one versus the Korean Zombie. Other than that, they've all been a decision. Even the ones with Max, the 3 fights he had with Max, they all went to decision. So that's kind of more of his game plan, is to kind of break you apart for 3-4 rounds. If he's able to see the finish, he'll probably go for it, right? But his game plan is more, he's fighting for 5 rounds. He's training to fight 5 rounds. He's not training hoping he's going to knock you out on the first round. But if the opportunity is there, he'll for sure do it. But I think I'm going to put money on Alex. And I'm looking at the chart right now. So if you want to bet $50 on Alex, you can make $205. That's not a bad bet. And if you put 50 on Islam, you make only $63. So he's a huge underdog, bro. Huge underdog. I'm probably going to put some money on Alex, 100%. Just because that's just what I do. I bet on the underdog. Even if the underdog would have been Islam, I probably would have put money on Islam. Unless it's a guy unless it's like Izzy or like John Jones, for example, that I'm just a huge fan. then I will probably always bet on the underdog. But, So my official prediction for this one would be Alex by TKO round 3. My second official prediction, my backup official prediction would be Alex by decision. So there you go. There I have it. I do think Alex gets it done because he has just more experience. He is super explosive. He's obviously been in some wars too. Islam hasn't really been tested like that too much. Alex has been tested in the grappling department and he passed. It's like I said, just more explosive, even though people think that he's going to lose because he's a smaller guy. People forget that the guy used to be like 300 pounds playing rugby, professional rugby, back in Australia. So honestly, I didn't even mention it till now because I completely took that part out of the equation too because of that. I don't know why people are talking about it more. Yeah, he's going up a weight class, but he doesn't have to cut weight, and that's also a huge advantage. When he's fighting at his weight class at featherweight at 145, he's probably walking around like 160 something, and he cuts all that weight the week of the fight. But now he doesn't have to maybe cut as much weight, so that's also better for your physical health overall, the day of the fight. So that it's a factor too. But I completely blocked that out because I was like, the guy's small. Yeah, he's smaller. He's maybe a little shorter, but he's big, and he has fought at higher divisions. I think he fought at welterweight. So I'm completely ruling that out as an equation because I just don't think there's going to be a huge factor on that fight. Being that also he's super strong and, like I said, super explosive and athletic. So that's just not going to be a factor. Now, on that same card, you have the co-main. It's Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett. Now, that's a very interesting fight. And it's very interesting because it's for the interim featherweight championship. And I already talked about this a little bit on a previous episode. If you haven't listened to that, go back and check it out. But I find it very interesting that they're doing a featherweight interim right before the featherweight champion goes up a weight class. To me, that just kind of says that they are betting on Alexander either winning and defending then the featherweight by fighting, whoever the winner is of Yair and Josh, or they're also betting on Alex losing and Islam not wanting to go back down to featherweight, because that's also a no-brainer, but I don't think they'll let him do that. Islam could say, hey, I already beat this guy at 155. If I beat him again at 145, I'm going to be a champion. Oh, I'll take those chances, right? Because you already beat the guy and you already know how he fights. But I don't think the UFC will let him do that just because he hasn't defended his lightweight title as much. So based on that, that's what they made this featherweight interim. And I just think it's kind of funny. I mean, Alex just defended the featherweight not too long ago. And they're already making an interim. To me, interims should only be made when, there's like a vacant situation or the champion gets hurt situation. He can't fight for like a year. That's a good situation to make an interim. But just because he's moving up a weight class, if everything goes well for Alex and let's say he loses or let's say he wins, either outcome, if he doesn't take a lot of damage, which, usually when you fight Islam or Khabib, you don't really take a lot of damage. You might get submitted, which is the best of outcomes, honestly, versus getting either knocked out or, getting another type of injury. If you get submitted and you tap, you'll be all right. You'll take some time off to recover, but you should be ready to go fight again in 2-3 months, at least to start another training camp in 2-3 months. So Alex, that could be a possibility. So they're also saying, I don't know how long Alex will be able to fight after the Islam fight. Is going to be a war? Will he get knocked out? Will he be injured? So that's why they're also doing this interim, right? But I mean, I don't want to say it's pointless because it's great that Jair and Josh get a opportunity at it. That's amazing. But I just think it was too quick. They did that with Francis. Minded they did fight right away, but same thing. I don't thought that was a long time that Francis didn't fight for the title to have an interim. I don't know. It's weird, but I'm glad that we're getting it. Like I said, I'm happy for both these two guys. They're gonna get a taste of gold, either one of them. That's gonna be a very interesting matchup. My prediction for that would be Josh. I think Josh has a little bit more experience. I think he's a phenomenal striker. He's very explosive. He's super strong. He's thick. You see his fucking shoulders and his chest. The guy is thick, bro. Unfortunately, I don't really know a lot about these two guys' weaknesses and pros. Like, I don't know who's the better striker, who's a better grappler. Usually that's something that you take into account, but I honestly don't 100% know about these two guys, so I apologize for that. But at least we know that either one that wins will be facing Alex Volkanovski. So that's going to be a very, very interesting thing to see if Alex can win the lightweight, defend the featherweight, defend the lightweight, defend the featherweight. Do that 2-3 times, and you're GOAT status, bro. You are GOAT status. There is not a chance in hell, in paper, Alex will not be the GOAT if he defends the lightweight and the featherweight simultaneously, maybe like 2-3 times. He doesn't have to do it for 5-10 years. That's fine. Doing it once is hard enough. So that's gonna be very interesting to see, bro. If he can pull that off, he's right there. He's at the door of greatness. He is at the door of legacy, and he's at the door of being, considered as one of the GOATs of all time. I mean, he will be right up there with John Jones, Henry Cejudo, Conor McGregor, DC, as far as long reigning double champs. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see. Well, that's it for this one upcoming card, man. But I want to talk to you about some of the announcements that we got over the week, which was also the notorious Conor McGregor coming back to the UFC, not fighting just yet. He is going to be coaching the Ultimate Fighter versus Team Chandler. He's going to be, so that means, if you don't know, whoever the coaches are on the Ultimate Fighter, they actually fight at the end of the season, or after the season, they fight on a UFC card. So we can expect a Michael Chandler Conor McGregor fight, hopefully sometime, I'll say around the summer. Honestly, that's what it's looking for, like maybe late spring, early summer. But that's just going to be phenomenal. That is going to be, I mean, we've been waiting so long for the return of Conor. We got teased a lot last year, but we knew he was injured, but we kind of knew that he was good. You know what I mean? Like, he started working out, he started training again and stuff like that very, very quickly. So that's nice. But there was always that question of, was that leg ready? Was that leg ready to go? So I believe now it is, obviously, because he's looking like he wanted to get back in action and get back into the company, and that's what he did. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not the biggest fan of The Ultimate Fighter. I've honestly watched it like once. And that's about it. I know some of the big, drama stuff that's happened. I mean, after all, it's different than the UFC. After all, it is a, how do you call it? A reality show, right? It's reality TV. So, I've never really been fully into it, but I know some of the like drama, big moments that have happened. So, obviously, we can expect Conor to come up with some heat and come up with some great insults for Chandler, come up with some great trash talking. This is what he does. He did that versus Uriah Faber. It was a great exchange that they've had. I've seen some clips of that. So it's going to be very interesting. As far as the fight goes, that's also going to be a great thing to look towards to, because obviously you have the return of Conor. And you have Chandler, who has been on a very, very interesting path in the UFC, I believe. Starting off his UFC debut by being the backup for Khabib versus, I think it was Justin Gaethje. And then, going on to beating Dana Hooker and, going on to, I don't know who else he beat, but, eventually getting the gold opportunity against Charles Oliveira. He loses that. He loses versus Justin Gaethje, but then he knocks out Tony Ferguson, and then he gets submitted by Dustin Poirier. So the guy's been on a roller coaster, on a great trajectory. Overall, though, good, I believe, because he has become close of a superstar, right, in the UFC, or not a superstar, but a star in the UFC, just because he's kind of picked the right opponents at the right time, in the right event, right, with a lot of eyeballs. So he has done that very, very smartly. But fighting style, the guy seems like he could be champion of the world any day of the week, because the guy is shredded, very athletic, very explosive, good wrestling, decent striking. It kind of, say whatever you want, right? But when he fights, for example, someone like Dustin Poirier or someone like Justin Gaethje, and especially the Justin Gaethje fight, they were both like, oh, it's gonna be a slugfest, right? I'm gonna stand up with you top to toe. Look, that's great. I love when that happens, because we are guaranteed fireworks, right? But you want to look at it at a smarter perspective. Michael Chandler has to say, do I really want to go in there and just have a slugfest, which is not smart. That will, if you lose, you're away from the title. When you're in a slugfest, the way I see it is 50-50. If you're standing right in front of someone, not backing up, they're not backing up, and you're just going, to me, that's a 50-50 waiting to happen. So your odds dramatically, is that a word? Dramatically decrease, rather than if you had a good game plan, if you know your strengths and his weaknesses, and you know what to do. Okay, I know he's a good striker, but he's not really good at grappling. So let me try to take him down, opposite, whatever. You don't have a game plan. When you're on a slugfest, there's not a game plan. There's only instinct. It's your instinct versus the other guy's instinct. Who the fuck's gonna win? It's a fucking 50-50. I'll tell you that. Now, obviously, it hasn't been the right idea, because it's gotten good traction. It's kind of worked out, because he's known for this fireworks fights now. He's known to bring it on every time. So it makes you really wonder, we really haven't seen a Michael Chandler fully dialed in where he says, I'm going to smartly beat this guy, right? The question is, will he do that against Conor? Now, the even bigger question is, what the fuck is Conor going to do? Usually you base fighters out of the last couple of fights they've had, but the guy hasn't fought in 2 years, I believe. The last fight he got fucking a broken bone. The last one he got knocked out, right? And then you gotta wonder, is he gonna have ring rust? Because that's a very real thing. That's another thing that people are worried about with John Jones. Is he gonna be all right? Obviously we know what they can do. We know they've been doing it at a gym, but the gym is not the same as a huge UFC event. Now, Conor should have no problem with that, because he's used to that. He's used to the lights. He's used to the eyeballs, the pressure. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how he can translate that into essentially a victory, right? Does he have a game plan for Michael Chandler, which I assume he does, or is he just gonna go on there and do his own thing? He's Conor. He says, I'm gonna wing it, fuck it. I strongly doubt that. I really, really want him to really be dialed in and win. I definitely have Conor in that exchange. I favor him because he's coming off of obviously 2 losses, and he hasn't fought in 2 years. He hasn't won a fight in 5 years. So it's kind of you just want to see him do well and come back. No, regardless, the guy is well. I mean, financially stable. He's great, right? Nobody's talking about red panties night. Michael Chandler is going to get his red panties night. I don't know why that hasn't been brought up. I don't know why Conor hasn't started his shit talking yet, which he should. But he should do that pretty soon. So we'll see how that goes. But it's going to be a very, very interesting thing to witness this series of events. What's going to happen on The Ultimate Fighter. I'll definitely be tuned in as far as like the main drama thing goes. I probably won't watch, day to day or whatever. But it's going to be very interesting. We have another really great fight night coming up, which I can talk about a little bit. It's Erin Santos versus Erin Blanchfield. This is going to be a very, very interesting fight because you have Erin Santos, who to me has been the only fighter recently, other than Amanda Nunes, that has given Valentina Shevchenko a run for her money. And we all know who Valentina is. She is a savage. She's probably the best women's fighter ever, arguably one of the best fighter ever. And Tyla went in there and said, fuck you, I'm going to fight the shit out of you and wrestle the shit out of you and put you in really bad positions from time to time. She fell short a little bit. Obviously, she lost the fight. It was kind of controversial. A lot of people thought she won, but overall, they gave the win to Valentina. So to me, that day I was like, okay, she is a savage, right? If she can definitely come back and win this if she wants to, just making a few adjustments. It's not that easy, right? Easier said than done. But to me, that was like, okay, well, anyone else in the division that she fights, she's going to smoke because Valentina has smoked all of them. And she almost, won against Valentina. So that's my logic, right? But then they announced she's going to fight Erin Blanchfield. Now, I'm a big fan of Erin. She's a phenomenal fighter. She has a great fight IQ. And not only that, but great, great grappling. She, obviously, her last fight was probably her biggest because she submitted Molly Meatball, who was a great contender coming up the ranks, you know what I'm saying? And Erin stopped that train right on her tracks. So it's a very interesting fight. It's two high-level grapplers. Like, really, I mean, Erin, I don't know much about her striking, but I know that Tyla also has good striking and good grappling. She's a little bit more well-rounded, I think. She showed that in the Valentina fight because the only reason Valentina was forced to shoot or was allowing Tyla to go to the ground is because she really couldn't do it on the ground. She was losing on the ground. Valentina, at some point in the fight, as crazy as it was to say, a few people said, okay, Valentina is losing on the ground and she's losing on the feet, right? So what can she do? Now, we know the outcome now, but that's what it was. That's what happened. So Tyla is a savage. I do have Erin in that. I do really want to see Erin do well. I think she kind of deserves to be up there in top of the division. What's her ranking? I don't know her ranking. Oh, wow, she's number 10. So you're seeing a number 10 versus a number 1. Now, that's crazy. I didn't know that. That's crazy. That's a great jump. But first of all, for Erin, that's awesome. It's basically skipped all the way to 10. It would have been nice to see how she, first before throwing her to the wolves like that, it would have been nice to see how she handled against some of the other gals in that division, like Jessica Andrade or, someone like a Lauren Murphy. Some people that already fought Valentina to kind of see how she does. But nope, the UFC said, nope, you're getting the toughest fight that Valentina has gotten so far. And it's kind of crazy to me that they didn't give Tyla not an immediate rematch, but maybe a rematch, against Valentina because she did it great. She almost won. You gave a rematch to Alexander Gustafsson after the John Jones fight. I don't know if it was right after, but he got the rematch, right? So that makes me think, okay, when you are the underdog and you're going to against a champion, if you do very, very well, there's a chance that you'll get the rematch, right? So that's what I thought was going to happen with Tyla. So I was excited for that, but I guess not, because now Valentina is fighting someone else, and now Tyla is going to fight Erin Blanchfield. So that's going to be a very interesting fight. I do have I already said, all right, I have Erin. I do want to see her go up the ranks and be considered like the number one, and because I eventually would love a fight with her against Valentina. She stated towards that, so she played her cards very well because she said that on her last press conference after the fight against Meatball Molly. She knew she had momentum because she had just beat Molly, who's a massive popular. She's super popular, so she beat Molly. So she's like, oh shit, I gotta do something with this hype that I'm about to get. So she kind of called out Valentina, not really, but she's kind of said that she was coming and stuff like that. And now she's right at the door. All she has to do is get through Santos, and I think if Erin wins, she gets a guaranteed. I don't say it's a guaranteed, but there's a very, very big chance that she will fight Valentina for the championship, for the belt. Anyways, guys, that is probably it for today. Let me know how you guys like this new setup and my schedule. I'm thinking of dropping. Right now, I'm on the like once a week type of schedule. But I might drop another one during the week. But if I do that, I'll probably make the videos smaller, if that makes sense. So usually I drop like a 30-40 minute one, but if I do drop two, maybe it'll be like 20 to 30 minutes each, right? So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments, man. Thank you so much for viewing, liking, subscribing, for sticking through the end if you guys are here. And I appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.